What up, y'all? It's Mr. 6'8", and I am coming back at you with a video here late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I gotta be to work in about 2 hours, so let's get it. So today I just want to touch base on and talk more about a rather not so comedic topic, and that is dealing with mental health and dealing with depression. As many of you know, living a life as a bisexual man can sometimes be very challenging. Living a life as a gay man can definitely sometimes be very challenging. Living a life as a transsexual person of trans experience definitely is challenging. And hell, even living a life as heterosexual as well can definitely be challenging. And I say all of this to say that it's definitely not easy out here when you have dealt with a lot as a child and you still have to carry those things over into your adulthood. With me, myself, speaking per se, I have dealt with a lot as a child. Many of the people that know me know that I have dealt with molestation, that I have dealt with sexual abuse, whether it's, from family members or people that's outside of the family. I have dealt with being without a father in my life. I've dealt with a lot of stuff, and it's a hard thing to talk about because of the fact that there are days that are not so good and there are days that are good. And the purpose of this video is that I just want to encourage somebody out here. And this is one of the real reasons why I wanted to create a channel, was to bridge a gap and to show people like myself that we are humans too. I have feelings too. And, regardless of what people say on the outside, nobody is perfect. And I hope that, the message that is taken away from this is that once you have finished watching this video, that you yourself will be able to sit back and tell yourself as well that, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm a work in progress. So, I grew up as a child, raised up in a single parent home. My mom and dad got a divorce early. As a result of that, it forced, me to have to deal with learning how to be my own hero. And by that, I mean, I always had to figure out a way to keep my mind stable, always entertain myself. My mom, she really didn't, allow me to really like interact with a lot of people growing up, as far as, when it comes to, being around a lot of people. And I don't hold it against her. I definitely do thank her for that because, these days you don't know who to trust around your child. And being that at this particular point in life, I had already been through, like I said, molestation and all kind of other things, hey, it just is one of the things that came with the territory. Now, I did have, one or two good friends who I used to play with in my old neighborhood. But, aside from that, I didn't really do too much as far as when it comes to interacting with other people. So I've always been a loner. I've always been an introvert. This is who I am. This is how I, have become how I became the person that I am today, which is Mr. 6'8", aka Tristan. And that's all I know. And, it was really rough because there would be times to where I would ride the school bus, kids would spit on me, call me names, sit here and make, remarks at me about what they're going to do to me or what they want to do to me. It was really rough growing up. And that's something that, has always haunted me, for a very long time. And it seems like that no matter what school system I went to, I've always dealt with issues when it comes to dealing with, being bullied, at school, which is why, I have such a strong compassion, and I have such a soft spot when it comes to other kids who may have committed suicide, due to being bullied or due to the fact that they can't, as far as be their authentic selves. And this is one of the biggest things that I feel like that a lot of parents overlook within their children is when it comes to being their authentic selves. The reason why this is so important is because of the fact that if you are not able to be your authentic self, then who are you? Who are you as a person? And that's one of the things that I feel like that people that commit suicide tends to sometimes feel like is that, hey, I'm at a point to where I'm at a crossroads, my voice is not being heard, nobody seems to care, I can't figure out life. What else is there to do? The reason why I know this is that, once again, I too have dealt with suicide. I've, made many suicide, attempts on my life because of the fact that I didn't understand who I was as a person. I didn't understand who Tristan was as a person. And, my biggest thing that I want people to understand, in this video is that it's very important to understand who you are as a person. Never let anybody sit here and tell you about who you are as a person. Only you can define yourself as a person. And what I mean by that is that only you can allow yourself to tell yourself that, hey, I am great. Hey, I am, beautiful. Hey, I am strong. Hey, I am smart. Hey, I am intelligent. Nobody has the right to sit here and tell you about anything as it pertains to yourself, because guess what? They haven't walked a mile in your shoes at all, period. So with that being said, why are you going to sit here and listen to somebody who don't even sit here and know anything about your past, what you've been through, what you go through behind closed doors? They ain't paying your bills. They ain't sleeping with you. So why are you concerned about them? Why be concerned? There's no point in being concerned. There's not at all. And, growing up, as a person that grew up as an introvert, a person that was sheltered, I didn't have anybody to sit in and tell me that, because as it was, my family themselves was dealing with their own drama, and by that, I mean that they was dealing with their own issues between, and when I say that, my mom and dad. So I didn't have people that was able to tell me that. I had to learn these things for myself as I got older. And, to be honest, it wasn't until I became, I would say about 2007, when I met the first guy outside of dating females, is when I truly started to go and take the journey of who is Tristan as an individual. And, going through that situation, what it taught me was, it taught me that you have to understand and know who you are as a person, because if you don't, people will take your kindness and prey on it. They would take the weak spots that they can find on you and prey on it. I was, dating a guy. Hell, I don't even know if I want to sit here and call it dating, because at this point, it just is what it is. Met the guy. Yeah, we had a one night stand. Yeah, I thought I was in love. Yeah, I was sitting here doing stuff for him. But, at the same time, like I said, I didn't know any better. These are examples that were shown to me that, hey, in order to be loved, you pretty much had to be, talked to down, as far as talk down to, have somebody to talk trash, to you, have somebody to sit here and call you out your name. These are what I would consider the definitions of what I saw to be love as a child in my life. So as an adult, I took those things and I applied them whenever I came across certain situations. And because of that, I failed to see a lot of stuff that I was going through. And it kept putting me in a vicious cycle to where I would meet one guy, things would work out. I would sit here and, leave that situation. Then I may go over here, meet a female, that didn't work out. Then I would go over here, meet another guy, that didn't work out. So I was constantly going through vicious cycles of meeting the wrong people. And the reason why that was occurring was because of the fact that, once again, if you don't have that foundation set from the beginning, if you have dealt with, issues growing up to where your definition of love was so jacked up that no matter what you did as an adult, you just could never seem to get it right. Like I said, you can't blame yourself at the end of the day. You cannot blame yourself. Is it, is it some accountability to be had? Of course, but you can't blame yourself completely for something that you don't know or understand. And these are things that I had to understand, was how to love myself, defining what love means, defining what self-love means. And to me, as a 31-year-old right now, as I sit here today, love is unconditional. Love has no boundaries. and that's how I became as far as into the person I am today, which is a bisexual man, because I had to realize that love really has no boundaries. From the time that I was 20 to when I started, dating as far as messing with the dude that I was telling y'all about, to the time I'm 31, I went through a rough period in my life. And the reason why I went through that was because my definition of love was jacked up. By this time, you got to think about it. I had dealt with molestation. I hadn't seen my parents get a divorce. I had, been through as far as being bullied at school. I had dealt with so much disappointment in life that it was just numb to feel broken all the time. And being broken, felt so comfortable. It felt so comfortable being broken because that's all I had known. So until, something or someone came and showed me different, this was all that it was. And to be honest, things for me really did not get better until the last 2 or 3 years of my life as it has been now. And the only reason why that has happened is because of the fact that I had to make some hard decisions and some tough, difficult choices. For one, I had to tell myself that I don't care what nobody sit here and thinks about you. Don't give two flying flips about what the next person got to say about you. Tone that shit out. Leave it at the door. Let it go. Because at the end of the day, you can do everything right. You can be the perfect person, and somebody still has something to sit here and say about you. That's why I do not care at all at this point what people got to say about me, because I'm living in my truth. This is my truth. What you see sitting before you, it is my truth. And that's the thing that, like I said, it doesn't come with just a snap of the finger. It's something that you have to develop into. And one of the steps that I took, was going to a psychiatrist. And this is something to why I feel like that mental health is such an important topic that kind of falls at the wayside, was because of the fact that, people think, especially in the Black community, oh, if you go see a psychiatrist, you're considered crazy. But hey, people go through real shit in life, and that's just the way it is. Not only had I been through all of this stuff that I had mentioned, but we're not even going to talk about the fact that, yeah, I deal with a chronic illness called sickle cell anemia that takes a lot out of me every day, leaves me in pain every day, has me to sit and taking medication every day. We're not even going to touch on that fact that I deal with that on a daily basis, even as of now. It requires strong mentality to understand that, hey, you have to fight. And when I say you have to fight, you got to fight like hell. When I say you got to make yourself get up out that bed, no matter how you feel, you have to push. If you don't push, nobody else is going to push for you. Let me say and repeat that. If you do not push yourself, nobody else is going to push for you. You have to push for yourself. And by push, I mean that pray until something happens. That's what I call push. Pray until something happens, or push until something happens. Keep going until something happens, until you get results. And what I had to say and come to realize is that, you know what, Tristan, you might need to see a psychiatrist. So what? You saw one before in the past, and yeah, even though I had stopped because I too at one time felt like that, hey, if I see a psychiatrist, it's going to make me crazy. But I had to realize that you too, you might need some professional help. You might need to go and sit here and talk to Bob, Joe, Suzanne, and Tom, about your problems. Maybe that's what you need. At the end of the day, like I said, you won't never know unless you try. So, going and doing these things is what helped to mold and develop me into really tackling the issues as to why I felt so broken. Why did it feel like that? Being so comfortable with being miserable and being broken was such a norm for me. I had to really grasp that. And I'm not going to say a lot of y'all, there were times to when I honestly did not feel like that I would sit here and live to see this day, because of the fact that it was just such an emotional point in my life, because of the fact that, I had dealt with so much hurt and so much brokenness and things that I just, I saw the signs, but I didn't want to sit here and accept a lot of things in my life as they were, such as with failed relationships, friendships, whatever the case, because I was so afraid of being alone. I was so afraid to be abandoned. And that was something that, I had to really pray to God, like, God, you gotta, why do I feel this way? Help me to see me. And, once I did that, it's like everything started making, start making sense. I noticed that I started having, more willpower to get things accomplished that I've always wanted to check off. And even in the times that we're going through, such as now with 2020 and everything that has happened in 2020, it has pushed me, y'all, to really sit here and be on my grind. I never would have thought in a million years that I would have been able to get my YouTube channel off the ground like I have now. But the reason why I've been able to do it is because of the fact that while sitting here idle, I told myself, I said, okay, I said, Tristan, you cannot remain in an idle mind state. An idle mind state is nothing but a playground for the enemy to come in and pretty much attack you from every angle. You have to keep yourself productive. Before all of this stuff happened, y'all, I had a structured system. I work a 9-to-5 job. I had a structure, a routine. And when all of that left, I mean, even though, yeah, I still work, but it's nothing like working and then getting up and getting dressed and actually going into an office versus now you're just working, from home. It's nothing like that. That's not it at all, So that's why I'm saying, like, you have to, you gotta learn how to push. You gotta learn how to push. If you don't learn how to push, y'all, I'm telling you, you are not going to survive, especially during times like these. And, to circle back around, like I said, we have to get our mental health state right. In order for us to sit here and be better individuals, we have to be healthy from the inside to the out, meaning that you got to work on whatever's going on the inside of you, whether it's your mental state or whether it's something going on in your body. You have to work on all of those things within you before you can actually, as far as start going outward. Like, you have to, because if you don't, you're working against yourself and you're never going to get anywhere. And, my biggest thing that like I said, I hope that everyone takes away from this is that no matter what you go through, there is never a thing as that it's too late for something to happen in your life good. It's never too late. 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't even have a job. I was living, seems like, going from one place to the other. Like, I'm telling y'all, I was ready to check out. When I tell you I was ready to check out, I was ready to check out. I hadn't had enough. I said, God, I cannot take it anymore. I don't know what you're doing right now, but God, this is just not working for me. And when I tell y'all that within about shortly after I had that breakdown, within about, I would say maybe like a month or month and a half later from that, I ended up having a lot of things happen in my life that ended up turning around my worst into the greater good. And one of the things that happened was that, I was able to get a job that allowed me to move and get on my own to a place where I was able to get myself together, meditate, work on myself, figure out what it was that I wanted. Even when that seemed to like have issues as far as, with me getting sick and dealing with all of that, God still said, okay, I'm going to bring you back to Atlanta and we're going to still work on you. Even in the midst of when I was able to get a job, stand on my own 2 feet finally, after dealing with the whole sickle cell ordeal and dealing with health issues, God said, okay, I'm gonna bring you back up here. You may have to take a step back, but rest assured, I'm gonna get you to where you need to be. And from that point, I was able to get another job as a result of having the previous job, because now I hadn't had experience as far as on that job, and it opened up other doors. And now it's like, boom, here I am today. Okay, I have a job, that seems to be a good, as far as a good pathway into a career. Then from there, fast forward into 2020, all of this happened, and now I have a YouTube channel to where, it's growing every day. And, that's something that I will be forever beyond grateful for, because of the fact that, like I said, it's always been a dream of mine to, want to figure out how to, as far as reach the masses when it comes to people out there. And I was never really serious about it, because of the fact that I don't feel like that my life is that exciting. Like, that's just me. And maybe that's just something that God is still working on, with me on. But I just feel like that because I live such a, discreet life as far as my everyday life, it's just one of those things to where I just never really thought about, doing a day-to-day thing as far as, keeping the content coming out on YouTube. But now that I have been doing it, y'all, it's actually more therapeutic to me rather than it is about trying to do it for the monetary gain. I mean, if it becomes a, career, so be it. But the reason why I definitely, as far as had a strong motivation to do it, especially during a time where I knew that I would have a lot of time on my hand to be able to actually maintain my channel, was because of the fact that I said, okay, there has to be something good that's going to come of this as far as this situation. And I told me, I was like, okay, God, I don't know what it is right now, but I know what I prayed for. And if this is what it's meant to be, then show me. And sure enough, y'all, it just seems like that over the last couple of months, it just seems like that, my channel has been growing significantly, very significantly. And I may be using the wrong word, but it has definitely grown, I would say, exponentially than what I expected it to do in this short amount of time. And that's why, I just want to encourage somebody out here is, find something that you are compassionate about. Find something that you are driven about. It starts with you. And when I say that, mean that if it takes you to sit here and reevaluate your options, if it takes you to sit here and say, hey, I'm tired of being abused by this man who ain't doing me no good. He ain't doing nothing but sitting here and taking from my cup and emptying everything. Leave that man. It is plenty more people out here. You ain't got to sit here and stay with them, Jody. I said it in my video the other day on IG. Drop you a Jody and get you a Bodie if you have to. Don't be in a vet all your life. Don't let, okay, y'all done seen the movie Baby Boy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Stop letting this dude sit here drain everything from you, women. And for men, if you out here sitting with a man knowing that he ain't doing you no good, driving up your car, eating up all your groceries, sleeping everywhere but his place, kick his ass out. Like, you can do better, period. I may not have anybody right now, but rest assured, I am thankful and I am content to be where I'm at right now and to be in a relationship that's draining the hell out of me and sitting here sucking the living life out of me. Ain't nobody got time for that. I've been through 3 crazy, messed up situations when it comes to guys. And I told myself, I was like, look, okay, God, if it's meant for me to take a step back, so be it. And that's the reason why I'm single today, because of the fact that I told myself, look, if it ain't meant for me right now, if what I'm supposed to do is focus on as far as building my brand, building up Tristan, building Mr. 6'8", if that's what's meant for me in the cards, so be it. And like I said, being alone isn't such a bad thing as people make it to be. People are like, oh my God, I don't want to sit here and be alone. I gotta have a man. I need some good loving. I need some good sex. I need this. I need that. No, you don't. That's what God gave you hands and dildos for. Play with yourself. You'll be fine. Trust me. Trust me when I say you will be fine. You don't need all of that, okay? And when the time comes, trust me, you're going to be right and tight just for the right one to come up in your life and show you how a person is really supposed to love you. When the time comes, you will be there, ready and willing, and you will not even see him no way hit you. It's going to be when you least expect it. Take the words from Mr. 6'8". It's going to be when you least expect it that it's going to happen just like that. I promise you. That's all I can say. That's all I got. Anyways, y'all, I'm not going to hold y'all long. Like I said, I got to get to bed because I got to get for work in a few hours. But I just wanted to get on here and just hopefully that I encourage someone, to, like I said, live your best life. Do you. Let that man go. Let those bad habits go. We going to do better. 2020 going to still be a good year regardless. And that's just going to be that. Like, share, subscribe to my channel for more content. Stay tuned because I got a lot of great videos coming. On Wednesday the 27th, I will be doing a live series with D-Star hairstylist and silent artist, 2 of my panelists, to discuss the misconception of a bisexual male, because I do feel like that there's a discussion to be had there. And then fast forward on Saturday, I believe is May 30th, if I'm not mistaken, I will be doing a sit-down one-on-one virtual interview with Spill It Boy TV. Yay! And, this is such an amazing person, y'all. Like, I cannot wait for y'all to meet him. and it's just going to be great. So stay tuned, y'all. Until next time, peace, my fun sizers.